All right, so in science this week, we've been talking about the heart and blood, and today we are going to talk about cuts. Now, God designed the human body to heal after it is injured, which is really neat that our body heals itself when it's injured. And so, on our pages today, which are going to be pages 163 and 164, we're going to kind of work through those together while we're talking. So you can go ahead and get those pages out. And we're going to talk first about how a cut heals, okay? And so on 163, we see the first step of a cut is that the skin is broken and the cut bleeds. So like right now, I have a cut. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a cut right there on my finger. I don't know how that happened, but it is right where my finger bends, and it hurts so bad. And so somehow I broke the skin and I have a cut which has bled. Okay, so that's the first step in a cut and how it heals. Okay, the second step in healing is that this child's mother cleans out the cut. So once you have a cut, somebody needs to know about it and they need to clean it. So it's super important when you get cut for you to tell somebody, because an adult needs to decide if it's a cut that can heal on its own or if we need to go to the doctor and they need to help us get the cut healed. Okay, so it's super important you tell somebody, because the second thing you need to do is you need to clean it out. And your mom will clean it out with some soap and some water and be super gentle and get all of the dirt and the grime out of there, because you don't want to end up with an infection. That'll make it even worse. We have some stuff at our house called hydrogen peroxide that we use, that my mom used on me when I would get a cut. And when you have like a little skin irritation and you squirt it on there, it doesn't burn. But you know what it does that is really cool? It bubbles. And so wherever there are germs, it's like it starts to bubble up so you can see what you're killing while you do it. And it's so neat. My kids love to do that. So we clean it out at our house with hydrogen peroxide. And then the third thing it says to do is then she puts a bandage and the body forms a scab. So your mom or dad will put a Band-Aid over a cut that you have, and underneath that Band-Aid, your body has been designed to begin to form a scab. And a scab is like a hard covering that can protect it until the new skin underneath is ready to be out, okay? And the scab also is where the blood kind of clots so that it doesn't keep bleeding. So it keeps it from bleeding and it protects where the new skin is growing underneath. And the fourth step is the new skin forms under the scab, and then once that new skin is ready, then the scab is going to fall away. So if you have a scab, it's super important not to pick at it. I know that you boys and girls do that. You've done that in class, and we have to give you new Band-Aids, because when you pick the scab off, then it starts to bleed again. And so then you kind of are going back through the process all over again. So whenever you have a scab, it's super important to leave it. And when your body is ready, then the scab will come off on its own. You don't have to pull it off, okay? All right, so at the bottom it says design and color a bandage. It can be the shape of a rectangle, a square, or a circle, and cut it out and use it on the next page. So they want you to design a bandage, a Band-Aid, okay? And you're going to use it on the next page, okay? So go ahead and take a minute. You can pause me and you can design and color your Band-Aid, and then you're going to cut it out. And then we're going to flip to page 164. So if you want to pause it for a minute to work, that's fine. And then go ahead and pick back up when you're ready. But on 164, it says write 1 through 4 in the boxes to show how the cut heals. So you need to look at those pictures and you need to figure out which one is the first thing that happens when you have a cut that needs to heal. What's the first thing? And write a number 1 in that box. All right, what's the second thing that would happen? Write a number 2. What's the third and what's the fourth? Okay, so go ahead and number those. And then at the bottom, it says to draw an arm or a leg. Best you can. You guys know I'm not an artist. Do the best you can. Add a small cut on it and use your bandage to cover the cut and glue the bandage in place. So I want you to draw on that piece of paper an arm or a leg. And I want you to draw a little cut on there. And then I want you to use the bandage that you created and glue it on top of the cut to cover it. Okay, so that I can see that you understand that stage of how a cut would heal, okay? When you finish with that, I want you to send me a picture of page 164. You don't need to really send me 163 because you've cut off the work you did on that page to put on 164. So take a picture of 164 so I can see that you know the stages of how a cut heals, and I can see your bandage that you've used to cover your cut. Now remember, our takeaways from this is it's important to tell an adult if you get cut so that they can help you, they can help clean it, or they can know if you need to go to the doctor. So tell an adult if you get a cut. And secondly, if we have a scab, make sure that we leave it it so that our body can do what it's supposed to do. God designed it to heal itself with a scab. And so when you pick that off, you're actually allowing more germs to get in and the cut to take longer to heal. So when you have a scab, leave it and wait for it to fall off when it's ready. Okay? All right, take a picture of 164 and send it to me.